Kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two. Sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty Redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 271. I don't know why we're on this weird screen here. We weren't on that way just a minute ago, but there we go. Welcome to 271. Of course, this is the Armchair Fantasy Show. You can find it on Going for Two Live Podcast Network on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook Live, syndicated in all major podcast networks. If you are on Twitter, Twitter's having a problem with their API, so we cannot see your comments if you're on Twitter. So go find us on YouTube and make sure to hit that subscribe button when you get there. Let's go ahead and introduce everybody here. Of course, my co-host here to my right, I guess left, depending on what kind of computer you're on. Ryan, what's up, man?
Not much, man. Glad to be back after a little hiatus.
Yeah, I had 2 weeks off, man. How was your vacation?
Oh, dude, it was good from, parts I remember of it. It's great. Good food, a lot of beer. What else do you want?
Yep, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, my vacation was also pretty good as well. All right, let's get to the panel here. So tonight we'll be doing a redraft mock draft, and I got 6 other people here with us to help us do that. We are actually missing somebody. I just realized Luke's not here, so we're gonna go ahead and introduce everybody else that is here. First up, we got JJ Wenner, host of the Ride or Die Fantasy Podcast for idpguys.com. You can follow him at JJ Wenner on Twitter. What's up, man?
Excited to be here and do some drafting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next up, we got, for the first time on the show, Mr. Los D Mix. He is one half of the Speak On It podcast on the Going for Two Live network. You can follow him at Los D Mix on Twitter. What's up, Los?
Hey man, happy to be here. Happy to be drafting. Just you guys are getting me ready for my own drafting league, so I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Matter of fact, the comment we just got in the chat here, I got a draft with this guy coming up on Sunday, so he's here to see my strategy, I guess. All right. Next up, we got Danny Ocean. He is the other half of the Speak On It podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at MadAds14. What's up, Danny?
Yo, just trying to build some strategies well for these leagues because I'm tired of losing money.
hey, we can't tell the listeners that you're here to be the expert, man. You can't be telling you suck right off the bat.
He's just in league with me. That's why.
Good stuff. All right, next up we have Cecily Rydell, writer for GoingFor2.com, a contributor of GuillotineLeagues.com. You can follow her on Twitter at Mrs. Team Rydell. What's up, Cecily?
Hi guys, I am excited for this mock, and I'm actually drafting in one of my leagues after this tonight. So good practice.
Nice, good stuff. And last but not least, he's been on the show before a couple of times, Mr. Chris Robin of Team Rise or Fall. You can follow him at Detroit Beastie, and he's also a former Going for Two. He used to be with us a long time ago.
Yeah, ways back, and I don't know if anybody knows this. I'd be an egomaniac to think everybody knows about me or my biggest claim to fame, my DFS article, Bottom of the Barrel. Your website is the first website ever to have actually published it thoroughly the right way. It was always on Facebook or in, I don't know, copy and pasted in notes and sent out. But I remember reaching out. We're talking 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even 6 years ago, like 2017, something like that. So Going for Two was the first website to ever publish Bottom of the Barrel, albeit there was only like 4 or 5 weeks left in the season. But happy to be here. And there's always that weird connection. I don't know if you feel it, Jeff, but I do. Now we made it creepy, but here we are. Yeah, I'm strictly DFS from this point forward, but I love getting and meeting new folks and mock drafting and auction drafting and doing all the stuff because it is August 17th, and you know what they say, 'tis the season.
Yes, it is. It is definitely drafting season for sure, and that's That's pretty cool. I mean, your bottom of the barrel thing. That was, I mean, how was that? 2017, probably.
Yeah. So this coming year, I mean, I started writing it in probably 2006, 2005, but back then it was all on scratch pads and notebooks, and I would just kind of rattle it off, and then I would type it all out on Facebook forums or other websites they had. I mean, so it was pretty wild to go from that to where it is now, like I'll just call it what it is. It's in a prominent position where more folks can read it each week, and then each year and each season here. So thanks for realistically giving me the bump and bottom of the barrel and actually publishing that it was a rag. I mean, it still is a rag, but it was a really big rag back then. And here we are all these years later. So Jeff, for that, I thank you. You'll always have a special place in my heart. I'll always do anything for you. So hopefully you know that.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right. So today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. It's fantasy football without waivers, no setting lineups, no worrying about injuries. With their best ball leagues, you do the fun part, and that's draft, which we're going to be doing tonight. Like a mock draft you can win money from. Download the Underdog Fantasy app for iOS or Android and use our promo code GF2 and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. And then for as low as $3, you can join one of our Going for Two leagues or one of the other contests in the lobby, like the Best Ball Mania 3, which has a $2 million first place prize, up to 10 million prizes total. Again, all you do is get the app on iOS or Android. Use our promo code GF2 and get your deposit match up to $100. Let's go ahead and get into the format here.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, so it's going to be a redraft, 1 QB PPR. So 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, no defense, and of course, no kickers, because we don't do kickers here at Going for Two. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started off here. And JJ, you have the 101. So let's see what you got here.
Man, I love the pressure of picking first. It really only comes down to 2 players, right? You're either going CMC or Jonathan Taylor with that first overall pick. So I'm going with Jonathan Taylor. Younger, healthier. I'm all in on JT this year. I like CMC. I was a little bit torn, but I don't see how you can go in any other direction than Jonathan Taylor with the 101. So
I agree 100% there. I think that's probably the easiest pick of the night there at the 101. And then, as you mentioned, Christian McCaffrey comes right off the board right after that to the sleeper drafted team. And then, Cecily, you're on the clock here at the 103.
Well, because this is a PPR league, there's no question in my mind I'm going Austin Eckler right now. He had more receiving yards than anyone else. 20 total touchdowns, 12 rushing, and 8 receiving. So he's one of my favorites. I'm getting him all over the place in the first round. And for PPR, no question in my mind.
Definitely. Great pick, and that's a great offense to be attached to for sure. Go ahead and hit that button there if you can on the sleeper app, and then we'll get to the next pick here. But yeah, I agree 100% with he selected Derrick Henry, but I can switch it. Hold on, I can move it to Eckler here.
Thanks, Steph. Sorry about that.
Nope, you're good.
Rookie right here.
It's all good. We're used to it. Live shows, this is what happens. All right, so Austin Eckler goes 103. Cooper Kupp comes off the board at the 104. Luke is up, but unfortunately he didn't make it, so I'm going to have to just select auto pick here for him. Derrick Henry at the 105. So Foss, you are up, Mr. Steer Foss here. What you got at the 105?
Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit unconventional here. I'm taking Najee Harris. Reason for it, I'm a big believer in volume, and he had 307 rush attempts last year, and he also was heavily targeted in the passing game. And this offense has improved, whether it's just batting the receiver, the offensive line slightly improved. I think he's going to be a bell cow, and that efficiency is going to go up just off of the team getting a little bit better and having a functional quarterback and some more talent. Hopefully that ups red zone attempts, but even if it doesn't, that's so much volume, man. And he's young and healthy.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, he had ridiculous usage, the 90 percentile of usage.
381 touches. That's absurd.
That's some cool stuff. That's when I first started playing fantasy back in like Marshall Faulk getting those kind of touches. We don't have that too much no more in this NFL.
Nope.
All right,
no
Los,
one on that team's taking those away from him.
Yeah, I agree. Los, you're on the clock here at the 107. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this 7 position, it's really hard for me to it's really hard to pass up on Justin Jefferson. I think when you think about premier receivers in this league, he is cream de la creme. I think the volume is there. Sorry to the Adam Thielen fans of the world, but Justin Jefferson is your wide receiver 1 in Minnesota.
Yeah, 100% agree there. I think that's kind of where I would go with Jefferson as well. Actually, I might take Jefferson over Kupp. I know Kupp went 104, but I like Jefferson. The offense is going to be more pass heavy this year than it's ever been. And Jefferson, from all accounts in camp, has been crushing it in camp. So I think it's wheels up for him. Following up at the 108 is his teammate, Dalvin Cook. And then, Danny, you are on the clock here at the 109.
Yeah, I might take the whole hour. This is kind of conflicting. I'm kind of torn between Jamar and Joe, but I'm going to go with Jamar. He's just too electric. I can't let him sit on the bench. Welcome home, Jamar.
Good stuff. Yeah, that's a great 3 receivers right there. Kupp, Jefferson, and Chase, I think, all are definitely first-round picks. 110, the sleeper app goes with Travis Kelce there. And Chris, you are on the clock.
That flipping sleeper pick grabbed my guy, Travis Kelce. But that would I would never draft Kelce in the first round. That's just me. Don't want to open a can of worms on that one here. But looking in front of me, and everybody that's listening to this now or may listen to this tomorrow, Joe Mixon, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Swift, and Diggs, even Nick Chubb are here at my disposal. So I'm kind of torn. Is it do I have to go Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift, or Devontae Adams? But if you look at the draft board here, boop, boop, and I'm back up again. I'm not at the turn per se, so I can't go back to back here. But this one, I think it's a no-brainer here. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope this guy makes it back to me. But the smart move here would be to take Devontae Adams, and which I'm going to do. So now I'm at the mercy of you, Jeff, and you're going for 2 account here. So let's see what you can do. No pressure, because I have a plan in place, and if it doesn't happen, I might have to split early.
So I've learned early on when doing these massive mock drafts on the show that me trying to draft is nearly impossible. So I set mine to auto, but my auto drafter went with Diggs and Tyreek Hill back to back at the 112 and the 201. So you are now back on the clock, Chris. So you took your boy Swift there. Give me your thoughts on Swift this year.
Well, absolutely. That was my move. Get Adams. Hopefully your head's out in the clouds, and it was. You put Diggs and Tyreek Hill, and bam, I get to get DeAndre Swift. Now, as a Detroit guy, Detroit is in my name. I won't keep us here all night talking Lions football, but everything I've seen so far from Hard Knocks, I was in Allen Park yesterday, watching a few things. These players absolutely love these coaches, and it's vice versa, and that's something the Detroit Lions haven't had anywhere near the Silver Dome, Ford Field, anywhere in quite some time. And now the entire world gets to see Hard Knocks and what goes into when they walk down the hallways, when they go into the rooms to eat, and then boom, when they're on the field practicing here. So the Detroit Lions, are they coming up? Absolutely. Have I said that 25 years in a row? Absolutely. But one of these seasons, fingers crossed, it's going to happen. So right now, let's start it off with DeAndre Swift as let me double check this, in round 2. Second overall pick in round 2.
Nice. Good stuff. Joe Mixon follows up there at the 203. And Danny, you're back on the clock at the 204.
Yeah, the hope was I get Jamar, an elite pass catcher at 1, and then hopefully a running back will fall to me in the second round. And I have a plethora. Alvin Kamara can't keep his hands to himself, so we're going to go with Nick Chubb because I know he's going to be playing week 1.
Nick Chubb, that's a good pick there. Let me ask you real quick on Nick Chubb. Any worry that he doesn't get those PPR points? He finishes every year as a top 12 running back, but he's very TD dependent. Are you worried about the PPR upside not being there?
A little bit, but it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah, Chubb's a beast. I love Nick Chubb, especially in
Jeff, if I may say really quick, I just read an article probably about an hour before this that said that when it comes to Alvin Kamara, there looks like there's going to be no suspension this year. So he might play week one. There is literally nothing going on in the court system. And therefore, if nothing's going on in the court system, how could the NFL could say that? Well, you were arrested or were involved in it, but it all has to start with whatever county this knockout punch was or whatever he did. But as it stands at this moment in time, 9:47 p.m. Eastern time on August 17th, Alvin Kamara is a full go for week 1.
I'd like to switch my pick.
Yeah, they said the suspension might not be till 23.
Yeah, they said 23 because they said that the court dates have now been pushed out to the middle of the season. So they typically don't suspend middle of the season. So
So y'all sat there,
However,
let me talk about Alvin Kamara, and all y'all knew that he wouldn't be suspended, man. Y'all ain't.
No, hold on, Danny.
Except
I got
you.
your back. I was having a few drunken conversations with a legal expert this weekend, Mr. Drew Davenport. And
Name
he's
drop.
of the belief that if they are out of the playoff chase, that he might start his suspension. He might opt into it at the end of this season so as not to affect next season. So I think you just made a wise decision, young man.
Good stuff. Because yeah, that would be worse. Right? Like if you took the risk on Alvin Kamara, you want him to be out the beginning of the season, not at the end of the season when you're trying to make the playoffs. That's definitely a good point there. All right,
Yeah,
right,
but what if they're out of the playoff hunt and it starts in week 12 and the fantasy championships are done and over with already? And who knows? It's all murky, but all we know right now is he should be ready for week 1.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. All right, the 205, the sleeper team takes Debo Samuel and Los. You are on the clock. You took Jefferson in the first round. Where are you going here in the second round?
Yeah, I mean, after getting one of the premier pass catchers in the first round, I definitely wanted to double back and get a running back. I had my eye on Kamara, but honestly, I'm thinking I'm going to lean Aaron Jones only because hearing some reports that my guy, the goat of all goats, Aaron Rodgers, is a little frustrated with receivers. Which, given that this is a young group of receivers, I have faith in Aaron Jones and actually A.J. Dillon getting more work in the passing game. So I'm going to go with Aaron Jones.
That snickering y'all heard in the background was Danny, because I've seen the show and they've gone back and forth on the Packers situation quite often. So that's what y'all heard in the background there is Danny just, once again, talking about the Packers. All right,
man.
Can I say one thing really quick? Looking at the draft board, you had a chance to run it back and have Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, two of the youngest, studliest wide receivers in the game, but you went with Aaron Jones. I don't fault you there. I love Aaron Jones. He's been running over my ass and the Detroit Lions' ass in a long time, but I'd like to know why you passed up on having that stud combo of Lamb and Jefferson, or did you not even see Lamb on the draft board there?
Yeah, I think when I was looking at the board, I always like to just make sure I have like a good stud running back. And just given that I got a true stud at the wide receiver 1 position in Justin Jefferson, want to just make sure I get at least a good stud at the running back position, and then building out from there.
Yeah, I like
Fair
that.
enough.
Right.
Good reasoning. Yeah.
If he would have waited to the third round to get his RB1, he would be slim pickings by then probably. All right, Foss, we're to you at the 207.
CeeDee Lamb's so tempting here because I'm a huge CeeDee Lamb person. He's my wide receiver 4 this year, maybe 3, depending on my mood. But you know what? I'm starting to get the belief if either be first or last on tight end. And Mark Andrews had 153 targets last year, and we lost 100. They lost 146 with Hollywood Brown going. He's going to get fed, man. And that's going to win me that positional battle every single week, and I can make up for wide receiver later on.
Good stuff there. Yeah, and somebody in the chat just mentioned that Los is the homer pick with the Rodgers, with going Aaron Jones here. And then following that right up, Ryan goes with Mark Andrews, which is also a homer pick because Ryan's a Ravens fan. So we got homer picks going all around here.
Look what we let happen, though. The team 4 is just the best team already. They get team 4 gets Cooper Kupp, and because we couldn't get it together, they get CeeDee Lamb too. I don't want to play team 4. I'm just telling you right now.
Yep. Team 5 there gets Kamara finally, and then like you mentioned, CeeDee Lamb goes 209. Cecily, you're on the clock here. You went Austin Eckler in the first round. What are you doing here at the 210?
Well, you guys are going to be scared of team 3 because I can't believe y'all left Saquon on the board. I'm kind of glad I didn't have to think about CeeDee Lamb because I love in redraft going running back with and I just believe that he's going to be back to 2018 form. It's all the signs are there. He had over 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. I believe things are changing.
If you told me right now that we would get that version of Saquon Barkley, he'd probably go in the top 3. If you get that pick there at the second, the 210, and he does do what you think he's going to do, then you got to steal the draft, honestly, because I think that's a great pick as long as he can stay healthy and do what he can do at least. All right, the 211 goes. You think so? All right. I'm avoiding Barkley personally because he burned me last year because I did the same thing you did. I'm buying into Barkley and I had him in my Scott Fishbowl and he screwed me. So
Coward.
I'm off on Barkley this year unless he falls to like the 4th round or something. But yeah, he's too rich for my blood. All right, Mike Evans goes 211, and JJ, you are here at the turn, so you get the 212 and the 301.
All right, I get to pontificate for a little bit. Cecily, there was no way Barkley was going to fall past me. So I was really hoping he'd get to me. So I'm a little mad at you, but I can move on. So, I have a great running back. I have the best running back, let's be honest. I'm going to look now for who's going to be my wide receiver 1. It's a redraft league, so I'm not necessarily looking at youth. I have a lot of options available to me. Man, I'm going to go with a young guy. He's not high up on our list on Sleeper, but a young ascending wide receiver who had a great year. He just got an upgrade in QB, and he's on the same team as Jonathan Taylor. I'm going with Michael Pittman here.
Nice.
I'm going with Michael Pittman. Like, I just think his ceiling is super, super high. Now that he doesn't have Wentz dragging him down like an anchor, the Commanders can deal with that issue in a little bit. I just wanted to say hi to Kelly, who said hi to me after she said that Chris was the best, but it's okay. I'm okay being second best and hate a front yard. For my second pick, I'm going to go back to the running back. I think I like to come out of the first 3 rounds with 2 running backs, because once you're done with those 2 rounds, there is nothing left. Like, it gets ugly for a long time. I think a lot of people call it the dead zone. I'm going to go with the guy that Melvin Gordon just said is going to be the bell cow in Denver.
Nice.
I mean, Melgo was the guy who I thought was going to take carries away, but if he believes, I believe. So Javonte is my pick here, and I am stoked.
Yeah, that's a good call there because Melvin Gordon, of course, is the second fiddle there. And if he's saying that he's going to be the bell cow, then you got to believe him, right? Because most of these NFL guys have some kind of ego and believe that they're the guy no matter how old they are and how much they've slowed down. If he's calling for Javonte to be the bell cow, then I got to believe that for sure.
Hey, really quick, did you see there was I believe it was a photo today. Melvin Gordon was catching a pass on the sideline. He had like a lump in his right shin. And some beat reporter said, well, there's Melvin Gordon on the field, must be nursing some sort of ankle injury because he's got a big pad in his shin. And I'm not kidding. Melvin Gordon tweeted out, just my phone and my sock, bro. And that was it. It was so funny.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, the 302 goes Ezekiel Elliott to team 2. And Cecily, you're back on the clock. You've gone double running back here with Eckler and Barkley. Or are you going with the third pick here?
I got saved by the fact that they autoed Zeke because I would have taken 3 in a row. I really would have. But luckily, I'm going to go with Keenan Allen. I know he's getting up there, but he is amazing every year. Last year he was I don't know the exact number, but I know he's in the top 12 fantasy scoring at his position, and I think he's definitely worth a 3rd-round pick. That offense is going to be amazing again, and I don't think I can go wrong with Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Keenan Allen is a beast in PPR. I mean, I had an argument on Twitter with somebody about, he doesn't catch touchdowns. I'm like, I don't care. He catches 6 passes. That's a touchdown worth right there. He'll get 13, 14 targets a game. He's consistent as hell. And please take off the injury-prone tag off of him. He hasn't been injured in a bunch of seasons. People keep saying, oh, he's injury-prone. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not. He's as durable as ever. So, yeah, I like that pick there.
Talk about touchdown regression, and I don't say negative touchdown regression. I say touchdown progression. Keenan Allen is top candidate for it.
Yep, agreed, 100%. All right, the 304, the sleeper team takes Leonard Fournette, follow up by our first quarterback off the board at the 305 with Josh Allen. And Foss, you were on the board. You've gone Najee Harris and Mark Andrews so far. Who are you going with here in the 3rd round?
I'm taking Cam Akers. I want to lock up the running back position because that just dies out very, very quickly. I don't think there's going to be anything left for me when it comes back around. We saw him get the ball and force-fed the ball while he was coming back from an injury and wasn't efficient, but they still gave the ball to him over anybody else in that situation, even though he was probably 60, 70%. This year, coming back fully healthy, I know he has a soft tissue injury right now. They said it was not serious. That Rams offense is so good when they have a running back who can do it all, whether it's pass catching or in the running game, and Akers can do that. So I think him healthy gets a ton of volume this year, and you get a ton of scoring opportunity when you're in a good offense.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You look back when Todd Gurley was there and how often he was used in the passing game and the running game, and it's the same offense basically. Now you got Allen Robinson as the receiver too there. That offense is going to be so good, and Akers, if he can get that volume, will be good based on volume alone. Even if he's not talented, he's gonna get good on volume alone. But of course, we know he's talented, so he can be even better. So I love that pick there at the 306. All right, Los, you were on the clock at the 307. You took Jefferson and Aaron Jones with your first two picks. Where are you going here in the third?
Yeah, so I'm sitting here and I'm looking. I definitely want to keep building on the skill positions, and definitely want to. I think I want to spend this round on the running back position. So I'm eyeing James Conner, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just something about the Arizona offense. I'm a little nervous about it. So I'm actually going to go with a guy who I don't know why I've been high on him in all my mock drafts, but Breece Hall. I think he's probably RB1 coming out of college, probably the most complete back. I think the situation that he's landed in with, Zach Wilson being a little hurt, there being a little bit of uncertainty at the quarterback position. I think Breece is going to have a strong bell cow-like role in an offense, and give me a late round. Give me an early flyer on Breece Hall being a sleeper, really good fantasy rookie. So
I like that. I like that a lot there in the third round. So, he's going to be the number one option there. And, everyone's talking about Michael Carter taking away his passing game a little bit. Even if he does, I think there's still plenty of work to go around for those two guys to be relevant. And Breece Hall is a great pick there at the 307. Team 8 takes Patrick Mahomes at the 308. And Danny, you are on the board here. You've gone Jamar Chase and Nick Chubb. Where are you going here in the third round?
Logic says take a running back, right? Like continue to build. I need a running back too. James Conner's right there. Don't overthink this, but my God. Hello, Kyle Pitts. I see you. You are a unicorn. I see you winking, and I am going to accept that. And you are welcome home with Jamar. Let's collect another elite pass catcher. Come on, Kyle.
Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, that's a great pick, Kyle Pitts there. I think that you talk about, touchdown progression as Cecily pointed out earlier. He had one touchdown last year. I think that goes up this year. I think he's bound to get more touchdowns than that. So you add what he had last year, and he's a top 3 tight end. What's up, Ryan?
He just made that pick feel so sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and it's time for my late night DJ voice. So all the rest of these picks are going to sound a little nasty.
Uh-oh. I need to put an R rating on this one for the iTunes account. All right, AJ Brown goes at the 310, and Chris, we're back to you. You've gone Adams and Swift. What you got here in the third round?
Well, if we're going to do pillow talk voices, screw team 10, baby, because I wanted to take AJ Brown, but he was drafted there. So when you go down this list here, just looking at who's available, James Conner, to me, in my mind, just a little too early. But in my mind, I'd be cool with taking James Conner in the 8th or 10th round, and he wouldn't be there. So does that make me, out on James Conner? Probably. We look at Higgins, Kittle, Demon, nothing really flashy or sexy there until we get to Justin Herbert and that long flowing lock of hair. We saw him just absolutely annihilate Dallas, and I know they're just shared camp practices, nothing crazy, but I'm telling you now, Justin Herbert is a stone cold stud. He's going to get it done 10 ways to Sunday, if that's the saying, and this kid is going to be in the game for a long time. And I don't know, I'll ask all of you so I could quit talking. Is this kid, I already have an answer here, but Justin Herbert at this moment in time, is he already a superstar? Is he on the fast track to superstardom, or is he just going to kind of, just float away? So you got choice A, B, or C, and I'll leave it up to all of you.
Super
First, make the playoffs.
What was that, Danny?
He's definitely a superstar.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to facilitate us not talking over each other here. So, JJ, you go first here.
I think Justin Herbert's an absolute stud. That team is fantastic. I know they're over under is like 10.5 games. I think they're going to smash that over and win that division. I love the Chargers this year, and Justin Herbert is their leader.
Yeah, and Danny, you wanted to chime in there?
I just need to see him to make the playoffs. My brother-in-law is a Chargers fan, and every year we get to the stage, and it's like, yep, let's hit the button on the Chargers, and then they're the Chargers. So I need them to finish strong.
The Chargers are going to charge her. Anybody else want to chime in on Justin Herbert, superstar?
Star.
Well, Justin Herbert's going to throw a buttload of touchdowns. Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
So,
I have him over 5,000 yards this year in my projections. He's a superstar.
I can see it. All right.
Yeah,
last
let me.
pick.
Oh,
Go
my
ahead,
bad.
go ahead.
I was just talking. Yeah, I have Herbert around 4,800 yards. You're looking at around 35 to 38 touchdowns. And again, this is all written in pen and paper, because that's what I do. But yeah, you're looking at almost 40 touchdown passes in comparison to only 10 or 11 interceptions here. And then 3, 4, 5, maybe even on the ground here. So you're looking at a true breakout. I mean, it's already happened. Herbs is a stone cold stud to me already, but this year is going to be like, holy smokes, it happened, right? Everything that we were promised, right? Like it's the Lord of the Rings here. Everything that we were promised from this kid, Justin Herbert, has happened and will continue to happen for a long time coming. So I am all in on Herbert, if you're not already kind of aware of it after that whole feel.
Let me ask you this real quick, Chris. If Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes were also on the board at this point, are you still going Herbert here, or are you taking those two guys over Herbert?
Well, truth be told, it'd have to be. Is it the same, just a one QB kind of thing here, or is that what we're doing? If it's the same exact draft, you know what? I think I would probably have it Josh Allen, Herbs, and then Patrick Mahomes. But in that spot, I would have no issue taking Herbs over both of them. But it's going to be the only close decision for me is Herbs or Josh Allen, because when we looked at it, we know these three players, and we sure as shit know, excuse my language, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in that marvelous playoff game, AFC championship game here. But to me, I'm not saying that we've seen Patrick Mahomes' best season. I'm not saying that we haven't seen Josh Allen's best season yet, and we sure as hell haven't seen Justin Herbert's season. I just think that one might come on a lot quicker, and I think he's going to peak, and I think he's going to stay at that peak for quite some time, maybe a season or two longer than Mahomes and even Josh Allen here. So yes, I would take Herbert over both of the other two QBs.
All right, good stuff. All right, so what we're going to do here, we are now entering the fourth round. We had James Conner finish off the third round. I'm going to put on a 30-second clock, and I'm going to do a play-by-play, basically. We're going to draft about 2 or 3 rounds, and then we'll stop the clock and then kind of talk about our strategy a little bit just to kind of speed things up here. So let me go ahead and get the 30-second clock going and make this auto pick here. All right, so Terry McLaurin goes at the 401. The next pick here is with Chris at the 402.
Done deal.
T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle. So 3 straight receivers here in the 4th round. Danny's here at the 404, takes Josh Jacobs, his RB2. David Montgomery goes next at the 405. Team 8's RB2. Deontay Johnson in the 406. That's his receiver 2 with Justin Jefferson for Los. The next quarterback goes, of course, it's Ryan taking Lamar Jackson to get his Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack. 2 straight tight ends here with Darren Waller and George Kittle go next. We're waiting for Cecily's pick here. She goes Joe Burrow. Great pick there. I think he's one of the top 6 quarterbacks right now as well. So Eckler, Barkley, Keenan Allen, and Burrow is her team currently. Jerry Jeudy next to team number 2. And JJ is here at the turn. His team currently is Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, and Javonte Williams. And he's contemplating his pick here pretty deep. Travis Etienne at the 412. Now he's up at the 501. So now he's got 3 running backs and 1 wide receiver here. So I'm curious to see what he does here at the 5th round, the 501 pick here. He goes receiver here with DJ Moore, who I love this year. Antonio Gibson goes to the sleeper team at team 2, followed by Cortland Sutton and Mike Williams. J.K. Dobbins goes to team 5. Foss is up. He takes his former Raven. He got a whole theme going on here, Ryan. Marquise Brown, who's now with Arizona, formerly of the Ravens, to Ryan as well. Los is on the clock. He's got 2 running backs, 2 receivers. Aaron Jones, Breece Hall is his running backs. Jefferson and Deontay Johnson are his receivers. He goes with my boy Elijah Mitchell. Obviously, wanted to get back on the podcast for a different appearance by taking Elijah Mitchell there. TJ Hawkinson goes next to team number 8, and you heard Danny say, "God damn it," because somebody took his pick. I don't know if it was the sleeper team or if it was Los that took his pick, but
It was Los.
It was Los. Got sniped. Clock is running down. DK Metcalf is his pick. I'm sorry, Allen Robinson is his pick. DK Metcalf goes to the sleeper team, and then Chris takes Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then to finish off the 5th round, Amari Cooper goes. And I'm going to pause it here, and we're going to talk about some strategy real quick. All right, so let's start right there at the top, JJ. So you currently have you have Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne are your running backs. Michael Pittman, DJ Moore are your receivers. How do you feel about your draft so far? And is this kind of how you envisioned being the number 1 overall pick, how your draft was going to go?
I'm pretty excited about where we are right now. I have 3 good running backs. I mean, I come from a dynasty show, so dynasty perspective, they're all pretty young. Plus my 2 receivers are also kind of young, or at least Michael Pittman is. And I love DJ Moore. I think the Baker upgrade is going to be great for him. I mean, he's always a top 12 wide receiver, or at least fighting to be a wide receiver 1. So I like DJ Moore with a massive upgrade at QB.
Good stuff. I like it. All right, let's go to you, Cecily. You went with your picks that we hadn't talked about yet with Burrow and Sutton here. Give me your thoughts on your team so far.
Well, I went Burrow because I think that the wide receivers here are so deep and there's such value to be found there. I wanted to grab one of the top 5 QBs. Burrow is going to be amazing. He's going to be better as far as his touchdown to interception ratio was last year, but I mean, come on. He supported 2 wide receivers in the top 20 of fantasy scoring, and it's going to be great. And then I love Cortland Sutton because I love Russell Wilson. It's just going to the upgrade there is incredible. He's got to be in the top 5 on the list for touchdown progression. I know he only got 2 last year, but he's a great receiver, and he's got just this giant upgrade at quarterback. So I think those are solid.
Yep, I like those picks there. And Sutton has actually been, at least from camp notes, been the go-to receiver so far for Russell Wilson. So Judy went ahead of him, but I think Sutton could be the bigger play receiver there for them. So great pick.
Yeah, I definitely like Sutton over Judy this year.
All right, Ryan, let's talk about your so first of all, I'm going to say you went Najee Harris, and you live in Pittsburgh, so that's a sort of a homer pick, even though you're a Ravens fan. Then you go Mark Andrews because you're a Ravens fan. Cam Akers, you're a fan of his college team, so you go Cam Akers. Then you go L. Jax, and then you go Marquise Brown, who's formerly of the Ravens. Is this a theme you were going for on purpose?
Nah, it just kind of happened. I wanted an L. Jax. When I had Andrews, I wanted the Jackson stack just because I know he's going to feed him. Plus, you know, Jackson's has MVP potential anytime, and they're going back to 3 heavy tight end sets, which he thrives in. But Hollywood Brown, man, he's going to Arizona where they threw the ball just shy of 600 times last year, 591 attempts. He's got to be the wide receiver 1 for at least the first 6 weeks. He was out there bitching that he didn't get enough targets last year with 146. So I'm assuming he better get more than that with his old buddy Kyler Murray. So he's going to get fed on a team that really doesn't have a defense, and they're going to throw the ball an absolute ton. So I think he's going to be their wide receiver 1 this year. And I'm going to play on that volume and that big playability because I have a lot of guys who are kind of floor plays with Harris and Akers. So I'm just trying to go huge upside on that.
Good stuff. I like it. Los, you're up next here, and you got Jefferson and Deontay Johnson as receivers. You got Aaron Jones, Breece Hall, and Elijah Mitchell there. And talk about how your draft's going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to play the board to the best of the best I can. Obviously, I'm thinking, trying to lean heavily into the running back position, which this is probably like the first mock draft that I've had so far where I've leaned a little bit heavier in the running backs. I think I find myself so far this year leaning heavily on receivers. So yeah, just playing the board and see, I'm happy with where we got, but definitely, I think Elijah Mitchell can be someone, from a fifth round position wise, who I think could be a sneaker for a really good season.
Absolutely. So I actually have Eli Mitchell in my top 12 for redraft and for dynasty. It's a pretty bold thing there, but I love Eli Mitchell, and the fact that you can get a potential RB1 there in the fifth round is pretty much a lock deal. Now you are see I'm wearing the Niners hat, so I'm a little bit
Speaking
of
of
a homer.
homer.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Danny, you're up next here, and you got a good mix of players here. You got basically all three skill positions with Jamar Chase and Al Robinson as your receivers. You got Nick Chubb and Jacobs as your running backs, and you got Kyle Pitts sandwiched there in the middle for your tight end position. Talk about how your draft is going here.
I was really leaning heavily on Elijah Mitchell too. So D, I appreciate you taking my pick. So I went with the next best thing in my opinion. Al Robinson. That Rams offense is going to be really explosive. Can't go wrong. The foundation is built. Now I may take some reaches, or maybe do some things that I really want to do. This is actually one of the best mock drafts I've ever had. So I don't know if that's good or bad. So this is so far so good.
Good stuff. And Chris, you got two homer picks here with Swift and then Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Herbert, of course. You talked about him, and then you also rounded out your receivers here with Devontae Adams and T. Higgins. How do you think your draft's going so far?
It's good. I mean, I can't believe I don't think I've ever said this in my life, and I've been playing fantasy football since like 1995. I've been sniped more times by Team 10 and Team 4 than I even thought possible. People that aren't even there are taking the players. But the pick that kind of threw me for a loop there, and that's why I had to pivot to Amon-Ra, is I wanted Allen Robinson. I didn't think he'd make it. I thought he'd make it all the way there. To me, it's kind of stuffed down unless you open the purely wide receiver tab. And yeah, there he is. But Allen Robinson was my pick there. I've had A-Rob on a dynasty team since the day he walked into the NFL. And last season, he toiled away in Chicago. We all know the story. And now, fast forward, he looks unbelievably outstanding with Stafford throwing sidearm passes, no-lookers, whatever you want to do it. Allen Robinson is going to be an absolute monster in LA. And I didn't get to draft him. And then you go to Team 10, took DK Metcalf, my backup choice. But then I'm looking, there's Amon-Ra St. Brown. All is well and good. He's looked up as equally as good in camp or practice. And it's only 17, 18 days old here. But I do believe that Amon-Ra does recapture that end of last season when he really came on and came up. I think that's how he is in real life every day, week 1 through week 17. So it's not just a flash in the pan, as people say there. So to me, Amon-Ra, very good pick there. What round is that? The fifth round, 11th overall pick. So to me, Amon-Ra right there is pretty good. Other options would have been Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mooney, Thielen, Bateman. I mean, a few of those are okay. But to me, right then and right there, given the fact a few of my guys that I had laid out and planned to take were taken right before me. But that's what we do in this thing. We shuck and jove on the fly, and we pivot, and we make plans. So I'm excited to hopefully grab my guy on the swing, unless you're going for 2 algorithms going to steal yet another player from you.
Yeah, as far as St. Brown goes, and I've said this multiple times there, people's argument against him is, he was the only one there in the offense last year. They had nobody else to throw to. And my argument back to that is like, there's been plenty of guys that we've said he's the only one in the offense, and then they do absolutely nothing. The fact that he took the opportunity and he balled out. I mean, he was the number 2 receiver overall to finish the season over, with Cooper Kupp their last, 6 weeks of the season, something like that. So yeah, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's definitely a player that I'm looking for in all my drafts too. You can get him at a pretty good price. All right, let's go ahead and start it back up again. The 601 is the going for two team here. Let me just force the computer to pick here, and then
I swear to God, if it, oh, thank you. I was going to freak out. I was going to throw my phone through the computer screen and walk off this mock draft, but no, it didn't happen. So let me grab my guy, and we can all be on our way here. And let me bring that up, and bingo, bango. There it is. Ramping up activities. Tom Brady's favorite target. There we go. I love a good Chris Godwin pick in the 6th round.
yeah, good stuff there, especially if he's healthy, which, you know, no one expected him to be healthy this year, and then all of a sudden he's healthy for camp. So that's a great pick in the 6th round there. Kyler Murray did go at the 601 as the next quarterback off the board. Michael Thomas, who's been getting a ton of hype in camp just recently, everybody say he's been balling out. He goes there at the 603. Russell Wilson is the next pick there. Brandon Cooks goes at the 605. Jalen Hurts. And then we get some running backs here with Kenneth Walker, who now has some mysterious injury. They said hernia at first. They're saying it's not a hernia. We don't know what it is. Hopefully he's healthy for week 1. Then we got CEH going to team 5. Juju Smith-Schuster goes to team number 4. Cecily's on the board here, and she goes with Dalton Schultz, the next big tight end there in Dallas. I think that's what the tight end 7 or 8 on the board. Great pick there. AJ Dillon goes to team number 2, and we're at JJ with the turn. So far, his team is Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne, DJ Moore, and he just took Darnell Mooney. It's a pretty good trio there of receivers with Pittman, Moore, and Mooney, who I think will have an awesome season despite the Bears. I think they're going to suck this year, but I think Mooney's going to be plenty good enough.
Their offensive line looks as bad as I've ever seen an offensive line look, and I just no love for Justin Fields as he's an Ohio State kid, and I'm a Michigan guy, but you never want to see anybody get hurt. But yeah, I hope Darnell Mooney and that whole offense is somewhat okay, just not as good as the Lions.
Yeah, just enough to help your fantasy teams, not enough to beat the Lions. I like that. Rashad Bateman goes at the first pick in the 7th round, and followed up by a rookie receiver, Drake London. I think that was the first rookie receiver off the board. Adam Thielen goes to Cecily, and then Tom Brady to team 4. D-Hop to team 5. Devonta Smith at the 706. And we're waiting for Los here. I'll recap his team. He went Jalen Hurts in the last round to couple with his running backs, Aaron Jones, Breece Hall, and Elijah Mitchell. And the receiver, Justin Jefferson, Deontay Johnson. He gets his tight end 1 here in the 7th in Dallas Goedert. The next pick followed up here is Damian Harris. We go a running back run here. We got Damian Harris, Miles Sanders, and Kareem Hunt come off the board quickly here. And then Chris is back up on the board, takes Devin Singletary, who I have picked as a pretty good sleeper pick. I think he's going to get more of the workload than people realize. So great pick there. On the turn, my auto pick goes Cordell Patterson and Elijah Moore. And we are back to you, Chris. I don't know if they sniped you there or not.
No, you can have Damian Harris. I'll take Ramondre Stevenson in the next round. Thank you.
Yeah, Stevenson's a great pick there as well. There's rumors that Damian Harris may get traded, and he could be the RB1 there. So great pick. Gabe Davis and Brandon Ayuk, who's been getting a ton of camp hype. Every video they come on the beat reporters for the 49ers is Brandon Ayuk catching some deep pass from Trey Lance. So he's been moving up draft boards pretty quickly. Tony Pollard comes off the board next to team number 8. Los is on the board. He took Dallas Goedert with his last pick. Rounds out his trio of receiver with a rookie receiver, Chris Olave from the Saints there. I think that's another great pick. I think he's going to be one of the receivers that we're going to be talking about at the end of the season as having a potential rookie of the year candidate. Treylon Burks, who's gotten a little bit of hate recently on the opposite end of the Chris Olave love. Treylon Burks has been hated on, but I know Ryan is definitely high, and Treylon Burks has been for a little while, so he takes Burks here at the 807. Hunter Renfrow and Garrett Wilson come off the board next to the sleeper teams. Chase Edmonds to Cecily, and then Zach Ertz to team number 2. JJ Wenner is up at the 812 here, and then once he makes his pick, I'm going to pause this here. He takes Christian Kirk here to round out the 8th round. And we'll stop it here and talk about these last couple of rounds here. And we'll start right with you, JJ. You just took, you got Mooney, Bateman, and Christian Kirk here on these last 3 rounds, going all receivers. You now have 4 receivers and 3 running backs. Let me ask you, are you thinking with your pick here that you're going to have here at 9-1, are you thinking tight end or quarterback yet? Or are you still going to stack those skill positions?
I think I'm done. I'm pretty sure I'm happy. I think I have the RB1 of 3 teams in the My receivers are all going to be the wide receiver ones on their team. So I'm excited for what I have built right now. And I am definitely going to go with a quarterback at the next pick.
Cecily, you're the last three picks were Dalton Schultz, Thielen, and Chase Edmonds there. And my question to you is Edmonds, are you worried at all about their 50,000 running backs that they have in the backfield? Do you think Edmonds gets the most of the workload there?
Well, let me plug a Going for Two article right now that just came out. It was the best value picks in the AFC East. And if you read that, it makes a good argument for Chase Edmonds. I wrote it. But
I was going to ask you, who wrote that article?
especially in PPR. He was great last year when he was healthy. Raheem Mostert, I just don't think there's anything really to worry about out there. And he with a weak passer, a reputed weak passer, like Tua, I think he's going to be depending on the pass catching back more than the average team would be. And Edmonds is the pass catching back there. So I really like his value here. I almost have regret right now that I took Thielen instead of Hunter Renfrow. Now, I love Thielen. I had him on my team last year. He got 10 touchdowns. So I'm hoping for the same, but that was one of those picks where it was like, should I die? Anyways, there's my picks.
All right, good stuff. We'll go to you, Foss. You finally broke out of your homerism here. You took Ken Walker, Devonta Smith, Treylon Burks, two guys that have some question marks with Ken Walker and Burks. Walker has the injury concern that we don't know what it is, and then of course Burks has been getting some camp heat because he's not performing the way they think that he should be performing. What are your thoughts on those two guys? You're on mute, Ryan.
I thought I hit unmute. I have fat fingers. So I took Ken Walker. I'm a little hesitant with his injury, but the way they said it doesn't sound serious. And I already have two really good running backs. So if he has to sit for a couple weeks, he has to sit for a couple weeks. But Rashad Penny's health is always in question. And if he gets the lead role there, we know Pete Carroll just runs guys in the ground. So I'm willing to take the chance of the volume there. And Treylon Burks is kind of like, it's just him adjusting and becoming a pro. We've seen this time after time. And him being in that preseason game, having question marks, that's also missing a play where he was butt naked down the seam. And he could have scored immediately, and we'd had a completely different view. Like, he's not really competing with much. There's old Bobby Trees who may or may not be healthy, and a bunch of Jags. Like, it's his job to lose. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, I agree. And in regards to Ken Walker too, I think it was kind of funny that they came out and said that he was going to get most of the workload, and then the very next day he's got this mystery injury that we don't know what it is. So I'm curious if the Seahawks are just kind of playing it safe there and knowing that he's going to carry the workload for the season and just kind of keeping him safe. So hopefully he's ready for week one. I think he's going to be a monster when he finally gets his chance. All right, Los, we're going to you next. You got Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert stack, and then you took Chris Olave there in the 8th round. Give me your thoughts here on your draft so far.
Yeah, so I think I was finally ready to address two positional needs at the quarterback and tight end positions, and so knowing that Jalen Hurts had some flexibility in his game as both a passer and a runner, I wanted to utilize that. Then when I was looking at the available tight ends, honestly, I think people are a little bit lower on Dallas Goedert than I think they should be. I think he's when you start thinking about tight ends and pass catchers, Dallas Goedert is a pretty good pass catcher. So I think he can be a serviceable tight end, and the stack with him and Jalen, was just trying to just double up there. And then Chris Olave, just because I'm starting to get into more dynasty leagues, I'm trying to do this thing where I just want to try to draft young rookie wide receivers and hope that one pans out. So Chris Olave is my guy. I've been drafting him a lot in mock drafts. So glad I was able to draft.
Yeah, I love Chris Olave. He was probably the best route runner in this draft class this year. I think his separation was elite. So I think he's going to be good there for the Saints. All right, Danny, we're going to you, and you got Russell Wilson, Miles Sanders, who's your homer pick, and then Brandon Ayuk there at the 8th round pick there. Tell me what your thoughts are on these guys.
Yeah, so Russell Wilson, before he hurt his finger last year, was on fire. So a healthy Russell Wilson is a good Russell Wilson. Try not to overthink it. Miles Sanders, the Eagles led the league in rushing last year. I know they're going to try to get away from that, have Jalen pass the ball more, but Miles Sanders is RB1, what that means in Philadelphia. If you count Jalen as a running back, he's RB1, but it's Miles Sanders by position.
What about that
What was that
T-shirt?
Which
What
one?
about that the T-shirt Sirianni was wearing about give the ball to Gainwell? Just saying.
Yeah.
When the
Oh,
coach
really?
is wearing
See-
when the coach wears that shirt, I'm
Oh,
defend your boy.
Nick, hey, as long as he keeps taking us to the playoffs, I don't care what he wears. And then Brandon Ayuk, I have drafted him every year since he's been in the league. It's kind of been a tradition to me. So when he fell, 1 year he actually saved me, Jeff, in your league. 2 years, I believe his rookie year, I drafted him, and he really helped me at the end of the season. So this is a thank you pick again. So, and he's actually balling. So yeah, felt right.
He's definitely balling in camp. I think he has potential to put up some big numbers there if what he's doing in camp rolls over into the season. All right, Chris, we're back to you. And you took, like you mentioned, Tom Brady's number 1 option there with Chris Godwin. Then you went with 2 running backs that are kind of rising up draft boards pretty quickly here with Singletary and Stevenson. Give me your thoughts here on the picks you made.
Yeah, maybe it's the old school fantasy football player in me, but I always love a good set it and forget it kind of guy. And that's what I think Devin Singletary is at this moment in time, and especially going into this coming season. James Cook, who people are, fawning over him. People are, really reaching and really throwing it all out the window just to grab James Cook, yet we have Devin Singletary. And I think Zach Moss is still around, but he won't be active a game. They might as well release him or let him go here. But to me, Devin Singletary, I love how JJ said it. I have three wide receiver ones for their teams. Every running back I got is their RB1. Devin Singletary, until someone tells me otherwise, is the RB1 for Buffalo. And last I looked, that Buffalo offense is off the charts good. They're just go, 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 go. So anytime you can get a running back that's going to be on a field with the pace of play that Josh Allen does with Diggs and all those guys, give me that chance for Devin Singletary to maybe have an extra touch or two later in games, to maybe have an extra touch or two at the end of each quarter, just based on their pace of play and what Buffalo does. So all good there. He is a set it and forget it guy for me. And again, I don't think I've heard anybody say that, because Devin Singletary, always got to check. No, if he's active and if he's playing, set it and forget it. And Ramondre Stevenson, I saw a few picks before. Damian Harris was going to be my pick over Singletary, and then hopefully I would have grabbed Singletary in the 8th round. But once again, stuff happens in a draft, and we're all good. A team that's not even a real team, it's team 8, once again took D Harris from me, so I grabbed Singletary, figured he was still going to be there. Boom, and there he is. And then on the turn, I grabbed Ramondre Stevenson. We all know James White retired, and I owe James White a ton of love and gratitude. This guy was a bottom of the barrel all-star for like 3 seasons in a row. He was outstanding in DFS formats. He was even good in PPR formats, right? You could just not even draft him, pick him up off the waiver wire, or trade him for next to nothing, and he would catch passes. He would put up points week to week just by catching passes. So I wish him nothing but the best. I know his family was in a bad car accident last year. His dad died. His mom is still in the hospital. It was awful. So for James, I wish you the best, a happy, healthy retirement. And so therefore, we look at Ramondre Stevenson, and I know you touched on it, Jeff. It looks as though, I've read this too, D Harris is not being shopped per se, but New England is saying, we'll listen to offers for Harris. And if he splits, dang, there goes Ramondre Stevenson to RB1 duties in that offense in a Bill Belichick-led team with Mac Jones. And who knows, maybe we'll get a game or two next season where Mac literally throws the ball 3 times and it's just pound, pound, pound. And if anybody's ever seen Ramondre Stevenson, this kid is huge. This kid is the real deal, brick shit house, however you want to put it. And I don't think there's ever going to be a chance, or you never say never, but Ramondre Stevenson just reminds me of that old nasty SUV you have for 20 years, that it never breaks down. It gets you to where you need to be. And I'm telling you, Ramondre Stevenson for New England and our fantasy teams this season will get us where we need to be.
Good stuff. All right. Great breakdown there. All right. We're going to go ahead and start the clock here on the 9th round. And while they're drafting here, I'm going to recap a couple of the first rounds here for people that might just be tuning in, or for the audio listeners. So the first round went Jonathan Taylor is the 101, of course. Christian McCaffrey is the 102, and Eckler rounds out the top 3 running backs there at the 103. Christian Cup, I messed these names up tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me. Cooper Cup at the 104, Derrick Henry at the 105, 6, Low percent at the 107, Dalvin Cook. Follow that up. The first board at the 110. And then Devontae Adams at the 111 and Diggs at the 112. And I'll go ahead and recap the second round really quick as well. Tyreek Hill was the first pick in the second round. Then we go 3 straight running backs with Swift, Mixon, and Chubb. Sandwich in the middle here is Deebo Samuel, then followed up by Aaron Jones. Mark Andrews, the tight end 2 off the board, to Ryan 207. Then Kamara comes off the board. CeeDee Lamb, Barkley, Mike Evans, and Michael Pittman round out the second round. Now we're looking at the 9th round here that we're drafting. I'll go ahead and start calling out some of the names here. As JJ mentioned, he did go quarterback with his next pick and took Dak Prescott, which I think is a great value here in the 9th round. Followed up by Aaron Rodgers to team 2. Rashad Penny at the 903 goes to Cecily. And I think they're waiting for me to take my pick.
Jeff,
here.
you're off auto draft.
I don't know. It says I'm on auto draft, but it's not letting me auto draft. All right, let me try this again.
You're not on auto draft. Boo.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. It said on my phone that I was on auto draft, but I guess it didn't auto draft me. All right, so where was I? So Rashad Penny goes to the 903. Team 4 takes Cook, and Tyler Lockett follows that up. James Cook, that is. And then Damian Pierce to Ryan at the 906. Alan Lazard, Robert Woods, Claypool are the next 3 picks there. Another quarterback off the board is Matthew Stafford at the 910. And then another rookie receiver goes off the board, George Pickens. Dawson Knox rounds out the 9th round. Moving into the 10th, Isaiah Spiller comes off the board at the 1001. Sky Moore, who's getting a ton of camp hype as well, off the board at the 1002. 2 straight tight ends here, and Pat Freiermuth and Mike Gesicki off the board. Kadarius Toney goes to team number 8. Los takes his second tight end here with Hunter Henry. I need to ask him about that strategy, taking 2 tight ends here. But Hunter Henry at the 1006. Michael Gallup, 1007. Derek Carr at the 10-8. Melvin Gordon goes to team number 4. Cecily's on the clock now. So far, her team, she's got 4 running backs with Eckler, Barkley, Chase Edmonds, and Rashad Penny. And she just takes Jarvis Landry as her receiver 3, which I think he can be a sneaky good play this year, especially in PPR leagues for sure. Trey Lance off the board to team number 2. And then JJ is on the clock here at the 10-12. His team currently, he loaded up on receivers and running backs. Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne are his running backs. Michael Pittman, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Rashad Bateman, Christian Kirk. He got his quarterback, Dak Prescott, in the last round and takes Cole Kmet here at the 10-12. So great pick there. I think he's rounding out really nicely. I love Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet's going to have a huge season. He's kind of like Kyle Pitts in the sense that if he had caught a few touchdowns, we'd be talking about him in a different light because he caught 0 touchdowns last year. Naeem Hines there at the 11-1, and then James Robinson at the 11-02. Tyler Algier at the 11-03. Russell Gage 11-04. Team 5 takes Michael Carter, the other half of that Jets backfield. A guy that I like and Ryan has been talking about a little bit more, I think, as well. Jacoby Myers in PPR leagues should be really good player here for good value at the 11-06. Christian Watson, the 11-07, homer pick there for Los. Tyler Boyd, 11-08. And then Agumbawale, I'm sorry, no, that's Alberto, goes at the 11-09. Alex Madison at the 11-10. Chris is on the board here at the 11-11. He doesn't have his tight end yet. I want to be curious if he's going tight end here. He's got, six receivers, 3 running backs, and a quarterback. Is he going to punt tight end one more round? Nope, he does punt it one more round. He goes with Darrell Henderson. And then immediately after that on the turn goes Kirk Cousins. Irv Smith Jr. ironically goes to me. I'm the biggest Irv Smith fan, so hopefully he has his breakout season finally this year. Otherwise, I have to finally give up on him.
That always hurts.
Yes, it does. I've been pumping this guy up since his rookie season. I actually had Irv Smith ranked over Hawkinson and Fant that year, and so far it hasn't really worked out too well for me. But hopefully this is the season that it goes.
That's called a bad process.
And Jeff, by the way, I'm not punting tight end. I drafted Dawson Knox a few rounds ago, didn't I?
I don't see Dawson Knox on your team. I see Knox on my team.
Oh, that's where it was taken from me. I get it now. All right.
All right. Chris takes Rondell Moore at the 12-2. MVS goes to the 12-03 to Team 10. Rashad White at the 12-04. Ronald Jones at the 12-05. We'll pause it at the end of this round here. So, JJ, when you get to your pick there, just make your first pick, and then I'll pause it, and we can talk about these picks a little bit. Foss is on the board. He's gone with Pierce, Gallup, and Myers as his last three picks here. Let's see where he goes with his 1207 pick. He might get auto-drafted here in a second if he doesn't pick soon. Nope, I think he got auto-drafted. So Ryan takes Tyler Higbee. Then we got Julio Jones off the board. Justin Fields at the 1209. 1210 is Cecily. She's taking Rashad Penny, Landry, and Tyler Algier. Hayden Hurst goes at the 1210. And then Jamison Williams at the 1211. And JJ, you're here at the 1212. And you went Prescott, Cole Kmet, and Naeem Hines, a PPR running back here. So who do you go here with? In the 12th round, he takes Jahan Dotson. Let's go ahead and pause it here so I can not talk for a few minutes because my mouth's getting dry. All right, let's start from the backside this time, Chris. Let's go to you. As I mentioned, you have not taken a tight end yet, and I think you weren't aware of that. Are you a little worried now about getting a tight end here in the 13th round? There's some good guys on the board.
No, I'm not worried at all. I've done that since day one. Even in DFS formats too, which I talk about in length. And yeah, there's a ton of good tight ends left. I mean, when you look down the board, I'd be happy with Robert Tonyan, in the 8th, 9th, 10th round. I'm good there. We don't know what to expect from him in Green Bay, but I will say we know the Green Bay Packers line up in two tight end sets a lot inside the red zone, meaning Tonyan could get his fair share. Will he score over 10 touchdowns like he did a few seasons ago? We know he blew up his leg. It's that stinks. Never want that to happen. But when we look at the other selections here, Darrell Henderson, Rondale Moore, even the rookies, George Pickens, Sky Moore, and then Rondale Moore, three young kids that are as fast as lightning. And as it stands right now, the upside, it's untapped here. So give me those guys all day. I'm not going to go into the camp stories with Pickens or Sky Moore. It looked like it was a drone in space. They're like, we spy Sky Moore running out of the backfield. Like, it's all good. It's just like the second day of practice. Let's chill out a little bit. So to me, Darrell Henderson was the only iffy pick here because I'm not that kind of guy. I know I'm not handcuffing anybody because I don't have another, LA Ram running back on my team. But at that moment, you got 30 seconds on the clock. It's like a bomb is about to explode. And so to me, I'll be honest with you guys, that was kind of a panic pick. I didn't mean to do that. It was just he was there at the right time. You know what I mean? So give me Darrell Henderson there. And as I said, with the wide receivers, young, and they're full of zest here, and they can really burn them. So I'm cool with that trio of wide receivers there.
Yeah, and I like the Rondale Moore pick. I've been getting him late in a lot of my drafts as well. I think he's going to fill that Christian Kirk role from last year, and I think he's going to get peppered with targets, and he's got the athletic ability to do something with it. I was a big hater on Rondale Moore coming into his rookie season, and I didn't own him in any of my leagues. But now that his ADP in these drafts have fallen quite a bit, everybody's kind of off of him. Now I'm buying Rondale Moore in all my drafts, so I think he's going to be a great pick down the road. All right, Danny, you took with your last few picks here, Claypool, Mike Gesicki. You got the back-to-back tight ends here going Albert O, and then Rashad White was your last pick here in the 12th round. Talk about how your draft is going so far.
I'm kind of excited. Chase Claypool's a playmaker. Just Mike Gesicki, again, just not an elite tight end, but he's good enough. He's going to get his targets. Albert O, I was reading that he and Russell have, a connection. They're bonding on the field, even though he didn't get any targets in this preseason game. I've been getting Albert O late in mock drafts. I don't know, just a feeling. Could be right, could be wrong. Rashad White was also a panic pick. I wanted MVS, and then he was picked before me by Team 10. So I just went with the best available running back, or one of the best available running backs.
Yeah, I like the Rachaad White pick. Actually, I do think that he can fill a good pass catching role there for the Bucks, as long as he can get the pass blocking down. I think he'll be good there for the Bucks as a rookie. And we're going to you next, Los. You, Alan Lazard there. The basically our one there with the got Hunter Henry, and you go with the other receiver just in case Lazard isn't the wide receiver 1, receiver 2 there as well, Christian Watson, and then you got Tua Tagovailoa there in the 12th round. Talk about your last few picks.
Yeah, just wanted to continue building that depth. I know the Hunter Henry pick. I mean, really, I picked Hunter Henry just on the off, on the off fact that maybe Dallas Goedert doesn't work out. You have a Hunter Henry who's a little bit more touchdown dependent, but I like him and Mac Jones connection. I think, Hunter Henry definitely toward the back end of last year really caught some steam. So I think there might be some there with him and Mac. And then, yeah, to your point, I mean, knowing that someone has to be the de facto wide receiver 1 in Green Bay, obviously knowing that Aaron has a lot of trust in Alan Lazard and his ability, but also just knowing that Christian Watson was taken early in this year's draft to be a potential playmaker. And I know they drafted another wide receiver in Romeo Doubs too. So one of these wide receivers are going to pan out and being the de facto wide receiver 1. So I'm just hoping that I'm banking on the right one so far.
Good stuff. All right, Ryan, let's go to you. Your last few picks here. You went with Dameon Pierce, running back from Houston, Michael Gallup, who's going to miss at least the first week, if not more. Jacoby Myers, I mentioned, sort of a PPR guy, and then Tyler Higbee there in the 12th. Talk about your draft.
My internet crashed, and my phone was on Wi-Fi, so Tyler Higbee was an auto pick. I was a little bit pissed because I wanted Jahan Dotson there. So awesome for you, JJ. Dameon Pierce, they're talking about him starting to get that RB1 role there. He averaged 6 carry in preseason game. We always need kind of have that potential because he's just behind Marlon Mack. So I'm banking on the upside there. I have enough receivers where I can wait on Gallup to come back. And once he does, he's a wide receiver 2 on a team that passes the ball 600 times last year. Jacoby Myers is just a floor play to protect myself. And because I know he's going to get 120, 130 targets. Like I said, Higbee was not what I wanted. And Gator, shush.
All right, let's go to Cecily. Your last few picks here. You went with Rashad Penny, Jarvis Landry. I think it's a great value pick there in the 10th. Tyler Algier, and then you went Hayden Hurst for Cincinnati now in the 12th there. Give me your thoughts on how your draft is going.
Well, first of all, I forgot that I'm drafting with fantasy analysts and not my buddies. So I really thought I was going to be able to come back and get Pierce later. So I
told you I'd get you.
I wanted both of them. But the Rashad Penny pick is he was. I know that the injury. Obviously, this is in case he doesn't stub his toe, and he ends up being as amazing as we know he could be if he were healthy. Jarvis Landry, I actually really like Jameis Winston, and the last time he played a full season, he was probably in the top 5 fantasy scoring.
I think he was QB2 actually that year.
Yeah, he was amazing, and if he's healthy, he can see now. I'm not crazy about rookies, and I know Olave is probably going to pan out, but Jarvis Landry is just straight up solid. So I really like that pick there. Algier is just in case he does turn out to be everything that he would want it to be. Like I said, I'd rather have Pierce there. And Hayden Hurst is one of my biggest sleeper tight ends this year. I have him in Scott Fishbowl. He hasn't lived up to his hype, but he's been playing behind Kyle Pitts and who did he play behind?
Mark Andrews.
Andrews, yeah. And but the one year that he was a starter in Atlanta with Matt Ryan, he was like the tight end 9, and that was in 2020. In at least in PPR, he was in the top 10. He is a great player. I just don't think he's had the opportunity yet. He's gonna have the opportunity with the quarterback there in Cincinnati. I love that move for them, and I think they're going to utilize for the tight end position there a little bit more with defenses centering in on the greatest wide receiver quarterback duo that's out there. I think big things for Hayden Hurst this year.
Yeah, good stuff. And you got the Joe Burrow Hayden Hurst stack, which isn't one that people talk about, but if Hayden Hurst ends up being that sort of touchdown guy in the red zone, that's going to be a great stack to have.
Yeah.
All right, JJ, so your last few picks, you did get your quarterback. You mentioned you went Dak Prescott here, then you got Cole Kmet in the 10th round, which is a great value. I love Cole Kmet this year. Nyheim Hines, great PPR running back, and then the rookie Jahan Dotson from Washington here. Give me your thoughts on those last 4 picks there.
I love Dak Prescott. I mean, he's going to top 5, top 6 offense this year. He's the quarterback, and he's going to be running more. His leg is completely healed, a year off that nasty ankle injury. So I'm excited to be able to get him where I did. Cole Kmet, like you said, is one of my favorite tight ends this year. He's one of the guys at the back end of the first, early second, tight end 2, who I think actually can almost get into the top 5. Nyheim Hines has standalone value, and he's a backup to my first overall pick, JT. Anything happens to JT, I have Nyheim as well.
Nice.
And Jahan Dotson, I generally avoid rookies, and I generally hate my drafts, and I love this draft. I really like my draft so far. So Dotson is a luxury pick. If he hits, I think he's going to play really, really well. So I'm happy to get him in the end of the 12th.
Yeah, that's a great pick there. I live here in Washington, D.C., so I hear a lot about Jahan Dotson and what's going on there. And he's been on the radio doing interviews and stuff. And, if you could say something about some of the way they sort of look at the game and their intelligence come across on the radio, I think that a player like that's a good player to take there in the 12th round. I do think he's going to be a good player in the league.
He's also a local kid. He went to the high school right next to my town.
Oh, nice.
And he went to Penn State. So I love the kid.
Nice. Ryan, what are you going to say about him?
I said I'm real bitter that I got auto picked and didn't get him.
I am not.
I'm legit bitter, and this isn't even a real draft.
All right, let's go ahead and start off. We're going to go ahead and finish the mock off here. We got 3 more rounds to go, so let's speed mock these last couple of rounds here. We'll go ahead and hit the clock. And JJ at the first, the 1301 goes with Evan Ingram, followed up by Kenny Gainwell, who Ryan mentioned earlier had the coach was wearing his shirt, give the ball to Gainwell. So if he ends up getting the ball as much as people think he might, 1302 is a great value pick there. Cecily goes with Jalen Tolbert, the rookie there in Dallas. J.D. McKissick and Marlon Mack, the next 2 running backs off the board. Alec Pierce goes to Foss, the rookie receiver there for the Colts. So I think he can have a pretty good season. Los takes the sleeper of sleepers. This guy that I've been pumping this guy up all over the place, but I can't even say his name right. I think it's Isaiah Pacheco. Is that how you say it? Anybody know?
Pacheco. Correct. Pacheco.
Pacheco. That's how I've been saying it in my head. So that's what we're going to go with for now. Deshaun Watson comes off the board to team number 8. McCole Hardman, Jameis Winston, the next couple picks there. Chris is on the board here at the 13-11. And so far, he's got a bunch of running backs. He doesn't have a tight end yet. So is he going to go tight end here? I know he mentioned taking Tanyan. I think he got auto-drafted Romeo Doubs. So Romeo Doubs goes next.
That wasn't an auto draft, just to FYI. It was last second, but not an auto. That was all me.
All right, fair enough. All right, Romeo Doubs. For some reason, my thing is not on auto draft again. All right, so the auto draft on the turn there goes Devontae Parker and Mark Ingram, who I don't think has any value if Alvin Kamara does end up starting the season week 1. I think his value's dropping considerably. Before I was kind of grabbing him, hoping he'd be the RB1 for at least first 4 to 6 weeks of the season, but in the 14th round, why not? Chris, you're back on the board here. You took, as you mentioned, Romeo Doubs in the last round. So you got then you go Khalil Herbert, who's another player that I'm really high on. I think that backfield is going to be more of a split than it has been in the past between him and Montgomery. So Khalil Herbert's an excellent pick. And if Montgomery happens to get hurt, you have a high-end RB2 there, I think. Raheem Mostert at the 1403. Trevor Lawrence, it's Danny's QB2 here, taken late after getting Russell Wilson earlier. I think that's a great second QB to have. Team 8, Noah Fant. Los goes with his tight end 3, David Njoku. Foss with Nico Collins, who's been getting some camp hype here, especially after the troubling announcement that Mechie's got cancer and will not play this season. DJ Shark and Gerald Everett go next. Marvin Jones from Jack, who is considerably slept on every year. Everybody Marvin Jones, but 15th. Kenny Galladay goes to team number. JJ takes Jamal Williams from Detroit, so he gets the RB2 there, which is actually not a bad thing to have with the way they used Swift last year. Williams had standalone value, and then when Swift was hurt, Jamal Williams was a beast. We are now in the last round, 15th round. Mac Jones to JJ. Odell Beckham followed up at team number 2. Cecily goes Brian Robinson, who I think could potentially sort of push Gibson for some of those first team snaps. And we got Darrell Williams from Arizona, Austin Hooper from Tennessee, I think is a sleeper tight end. I'd be taking him in the late rounds all the time. Zamir White goes to Foss. Los is on the clock here at the 15:07. He's gone with 3 tight ends. He took Pacheco at 13:07. Goes Sammy Watkins here. Wandale Robinson right after that. Danny takes the aforementioned Robert Tunyon that Chris wanted. I wonder if Danny just did that just to piss Chris off because he already had 2 tight ends. So then Chuba Hubbard goes next. Chris finally gets his tight end in the very last round with Mo Alley Cox. And to round things off, ironically, with one of my homer picks, Tyron Davis Price, TDP as we call him, at the 15:12. So we're going to go around real quick, recap the entire draft and how you think you did, if you have anything that you wish you had done differently. And we'll go back to you, JG, first. Talk about your team a little bit here.
I love my team. I have nothing to say about my team. My team is fantastic. It has depth. It has youth. It has experience. It's good looking. I love it.
Yeah,
I love my
it's
team.
a great team. I like the way you built there with you went you went through 8 rounds taking just running backs and receivers. That's kind of how I want my redraft to go as well. I think waiting on quarterback and tight end is definitely the way to go. Cecily, your last few picks here went Jalen Tolbert, Marvin Jones, Brian Robinson. So 2 rookies in that last 3 there. Talk about those 2 rookies and then overall how you think your draft went.
Well, I really don't like rookies, like I told you, but I keep saying this. We got to defer to the quarterback. I love Dak Prescott. So, and you're right about Marvin Jones Jr. He is always so solid. I can't believe you can get him for free every year. I mean, last year he was the wide receiver 1. He was ranked, I know he wasn't great, but he was at least in the top 30. And
that offense was terrible last year. And he was still, I mean, I think the first few.
It's an awful offense. And Brian Robinson is just, I just want to take a flyer on him. All in all, I love my team. I really like my team. God, really. I can't believe you guys let me get such a good team. I am disappointed I didn't get a Chief. I'm a huge Kansas City fan. And just one other thing. I think it was Loads. Did you take Hunter Henry?
Yes, he did.
I'm disappointed I didn't get Hunter Henry. If I wouldn't have taken, if I would have gotten Hunter Henry, I wouldn't have taken Hayden Hurst. But I think Hunter Henry is a way overvalued tight end this year too. So
nice.
All in all, though, this is a great team. You guys are in trouble.
Good stuff. Ryan, so you took your last 3 picks here were Pierce, Nico Collins, and Zamir White. Talk about those. You got a couple rookies there as well, a guy in the 2nd year, and then talk about your team overall.
Yeah, Pierce and Collins, I kind of lump together because they're both their teams' wide receiver 2s, but they both have very specific roles because they have really good red zone potential. And Alec Pierce doesn't really have much competition outside of Pittman. So I think he's still going to get fed fairly well and not going to see much coverage just because of the Jonathan Taylor effect. Nico Collins should have that role. And the way that Las Vegas treats Josh Jacobs has me feeling very good about Zamir White in the future. And he looked really good in their first preseason game.
Yep, I like it. Los, you took my boy Pacheco and then David Njoku, Sammy Watkins, your last 3 picks there, and then talk about your overall draft and what you thought of it.
Yeah, just I've been hearing a lot of good things about Pacheco. Been hearing, and Campy's been lining up all over the place. So I was really excited that I was finally able to get him in a mock draft. Overall, as I look at my team, I think I try to do a good job of just mixing, youth with potential, with some optimism about positional leaderships, particularly in the Green Bay receiving room. I put a lot of stock in at least one receiver, stepping up and showing themselves. But overall, I think if this team was healthy, I think they could give anybody a real good run for their money on a weekly basis. And so I think if guys like Breece Hall maybe playing out, I think this team could really maybe overperform. Where some of the ADP of some of these players. So I'm happy with this team.
Good stuff. All right, Danny, you went with McCole Hardman, Trevor Lawrence, and Robert Tonyan the last three picks there. One, I want to know, did you take Tonyan just to piss Chris off, or was that planned that way? And then just how about your team overall?
It was not to piss Chris off. I saw Tonyan as the best player available at the time, so I took him. I love this team. My only critique is I wish I had more backs with pass catching ability. Nick, Josh, and Miles, especially Miles, has a habit of dropping the easy ones and kind of having brick hands. But hopefully Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase can offset that. Some elite pass catchers. I love this team. Good stuff.
All right, Chris, close us out here. You took Romeo Doubs, Khalil Herbert, and waited to the very last round to get your tight end one in Mo Alley Cox. Give me your thoughts on those last three guys and then your team overall.
Yeah, Mo Alley Cox I've always been a fan of his. Yet again, another bottom of the barrel all-star. Really quick, I had I don't know what week it was, week 17. Jack Doyle was still around, and so was Mo Alley Cox. And for some odd reason, I wrote in the article that I just said it flat out. I go, Mo Alley Cox is going to throw a touchdown pass to Jack Doyle. It didn't happen, but that's how nuts I go when it comes to cheap tight ends and late and all that stuff. But to me, I got no issue with Mo Alley 15-11. I actually enjoy it here. But when you look at my overall team, a few things stand out. I'm not going to go, I love this team like a large portion of you did. So thank God this isn't real, because I don't want to say I'm not a fan of my team, but there's a few things that need to break my way with a few guys on this roster for me to, I think I could be competitive as it is now. But if I want to take a next step or go on a deep playoff run, a few things are going to have to break my way. One of those, which being Devin Singletary, is, the only running back, or the running back that they use the most, not just for a week or two, but for the whole season. I know that's a lot to ask at this moment in time, but if Devin gets all those RB1 carries, that is all well and good. Chris Godwin, hopefully this will be a quick payoff here. If he's back at week 1, that's already paid off. Check it off the list, and bam, we're moving. When we look at Ramondre Stevenson, even if D Harris is still a running back there, he'll play well. If Harris gets traded, then boom, that's what I need to break my way for Ramondre Stevenson to really kind of, how can I say this, to really make his worth meant here for my team. And then when you look at George Pickens, Sky Moore, those two guys, we all need stuff to break our way when it comes to these two guys. But as it stands right now, George Pickens in Pittsburgh looks like he's the real deal. Again, it's been 2 or 3 weeks, but hey, why not take a little crapshoot, throw a dart in the 9th round in a mock draft that doesn't count, and see what we get. And same thing with Sky Moore. We've seen some things so far in camp where I hate to say this, because again, Tyreek Hill is in Miami and there's only one Tyreek Hill, but in an odd way, I feel like Kansas City is trying to force. I hope they're not forcing, but I feel like they want to use Sky Moore in the same kind of packages as Tyreek Hill, because this last week in practice, last week as well, we saw Sky Moore, lined up in the backfield, taking a few running back reps, getting tosses out in the flat, wheel routes, all that stuff, all that gadgety stuff that Tyreek Hill usually and normally took, boom, right to the house here. So again, I'm a fan of my team. I like the idea as a gambling man. Actually, I love this team as just a fantasy football player. I do enjoy it, but a few things need to break my way, and I've set it up in the best possible way that if and when they do, this team's a monster.
Yeah, I love it. Great breakdown of your team there. All right, that wraps the podcast up, guys. We went a little bit long, but I kind of expected it with a mock draft being a full mock draft here. But Let's go around the room really quick. Give us your Twitter handle one more time, and if you want to plug anything, article, podcast, whatever. We'll start with you first, Cecily.
I'm Cecily at Mrs. Tier. Please go check my best value fantasy series that I wrapped up today. I'm playing in a guillotine league, getting the full effect. So head over to guillotine league, one of those as well.
All right. I'm not sure what happened. We had Cecily the good, but this last little bit you were kind of breaking up a little bit. But so you can follow her at Mrs. Team Rydell. She just put out an article on goingfor2.com just recently. Go check that out. And she's also contributed for guillotineleagues.com. So if you don't play in Guillotine League, make sure you go do that. A lot of fun. All right, Danny, what you got, man?
Sorry, my mic is muted. Follow me on the Bird app, MadAds14. Also follow, well, Dee's going to do all the plugging for the show, but I will do it too because both of us are here. Speak on an _pod, Bird app, Instagram. Catch us Tuesday nights, 7-ish, Going for 2 Live Network. We have a lot of fun.
Good stuff. Los.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, Twitter at LosDmix. That's LOSDEEMIX. As Danny said, make sure y'all follow the pod. Speak on it _pod on Instagram and Twitter. We're having fun on Tuesday nights, man. Right now, we're previewing all the different divisions as we track for week 1. So shout out to all the love and support.
Yeah, good stuff. And if you haven't checked their show out, guys, it's awesome. It's the only show on the Going for 2 Live Network that's not a fantasy only show. But you know, since there's no one else on the podcast that's on the Going for 2 Live Network, I can say this is probably my favorite show on the network. I check it out whenever I can. Unfortunately, it's 7 p.m., which is like a bad time for me, but I catch them on the replay. It's a great show, guys. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do that. Speak on it on the Going for 2 Live Network. Chris.
Yes, I am Chris at Detroit Beastie on Twitter here. And again, I'm all into DFS. That's my move now. I made the switch 100% DFS with a little bit of sports betting here. As it stands right now, I'm doing a daily video and a daily article, and I'm making daily graphics for all the baseball slates. And that's still, we're not even halfway home here, 162 games. But as soon as football starts coming around, you can expect that article, bottom of the barrel. You can expect single game videos. And I forgot to mention, I also do college football DFS videos every Saturday morning, or if I feel like it, I'll get it out and put it up Friday. So it's all DFS all the time. Couldn't be happier. And thanks for having me.
Definitely awesome. And last but not least, JJ.
Hey, thanks, Jeff, for having me on. I'm at JJ Wenner, pretty simple on Twitter. I'm not on all the other socials because I'm old AF. Yeah, so Rider Dynasty is my podcast. We actually just are going to a new home with IDP guys. Just signed with them, so I'm excited for the opportunity. Going to help them with their online content, coach them up a little bit, and learn what I can from a great group of guys.
Good stuff. All right. Ryan, what you got going on?
Basically the usual. Find me on Twitter at Fox534. Find me here every Wednesday night on the Armchair Fantasy Show. Find me over at the Rookie Big Board. We have the Dynasty Big Board podcast that comes out Wednesday mornings.
Good stuff. All right, guys. As always, you can follow me at Jeff Lambert77 on Twitter. Make sure you're checking out the Going for 2 Live Network on YouTube. We're going to have a ton of in-season shows. We have a show, at least one show, every day of the week during the season. And on Saturdays, we got a triple header on Saturday. We got a double header on Friday, a double header on Tuesday. So we have tons of content for this in season. So we got you covered every way. DFS, fantasy, we got everything. So definitely check it out. Going for 2 Live on YouTube, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a lot. Usually I give everybody's name when I sign out here, but there's too many of you all to call everybody out. So for everybody on the panel, thanks again for coming on. And I'm Jeff, and Ryan will both we'll see y'all next week. Peace.